Welcome back, guys. SimFBallCritic here, playing some NBA 2K15, and this will be my first impressions video. And this is literally first impressions. I started streaming the game last night at about 12 a.m. I got the digital version. I only played 3 games. This is my 3rd game. I didn't go into practice mode. I didn't look at any of the controls. Really, I looked at a couple things. I didn't really get into, learning how to set up the offense, so I didn't call a whole lot of plays, nothing like that. I just wanted to jump in live and show guys the game, and allow them to see me learn on the fly. So literally, this is my quick impressions. As you can tell, from time to time, you're going to see the live chat thing, live stream, little icons pop up in the right corner. But anyway, very quick impressions, man. This is not a review, nothing like that. I just wanted to let you guys know how I felt as soon as I touched the game. All right, so first thing I noticed, the player movement is a lot better, in my opinion. Everybody feels more weighted. It feels like momentum definitely plays a factor. If you get stuck out of position, or if you, can get somebody out of position, you can drive to the rack and you cannot recover very fast. You probably saw that already early on when LeBron James drove to the rack on me. You cannot recover very fast, and I love that. So the weight and momentum seems to matter, and the shifting of direction. So if you change direction, you can't just, magically recover. I love that. Player movement just feels better overall. You feel like you have more control. I don't feel that, any moments so far that I've been stuck in mud or feel sluggish or anything like that. Faster players feel like faster players. Like Derrick Rose feels a whole lot different than, when I was playing with Michael Carter-Williams. And I played with Dallas as well. So, Nelson feels a lot different than Derrick Rose. Monte Ellis felt like Monte Ellis. So those are the little things that I noticed right away. Rebounding as well seemed to be well improved. And then things like that are still to be determined, though, because I still have to look to see, if there are any AI issues in that regard, or clipping as far as, the ball going through someone else's hand or what have you. And speaking of clipping, I definitely are still seeing some few instances where there's clipping, in the body and things like that. And, I'm just coming to realize that that's just going to happen in video games, man. I haven't seen a game yet that can completely remove that. I don't know what it's going to take to do that. I hope on these consoles that that's something that companies can push towards. But, you're still going to see those instances. But like I said, I haven't seen them to where it really affects the gameplay yet. Again, this is only 3 games in. And ball tangibility as well. It seems to be a lot better. But I still will be looking out for instances where, did the ball, go through somebody's leg or through their stomach or what have you. There was a couple instances you may have already seen here in this footage that it looked like it may have clipped. But, I didn't stop the game or anything in this instance because, I was live streaming. So, little stuff like that is still to be determined. Like right there, me missing the pass right there. I was supposed to go to Butler right there. I would have had an easy layup. And, hitting the wrong button, I kicked it out. So like I said, man, I got to get used to the new controls. The control scheme seems to still be about the same, but I know there's minor differences, with, I think, some of the ISO motion as well as calling plays and things like that and running your motion sets. So there's little nuances that I definitely have to, take advantage of and get into that practice mode. One for sure would be the shot meter. Oh, my goodness. Man, I recommend everybody go into the practice mode and work on your shot. As you can see in this footage, I missed a lot of wide open shots, and that meter is crucial. I think once you get it down pat, it'll be cool, but I love the fact that you kind of have control over the accuracy of your shot. I really like that. That meter is very important. I like the fact also that it kind of shows you, your hot zone and your cold zone as well for the player. Like right there too with Derrick Rose, man. See, I made one too many moves, because in my opinion, the dribble moves and the player, player's position and all of that is well improved. So I actually already had beat the guy, but I'm thinking I needed to make an extra move, and I took Derrick Rose out of the play. So little stuff like that, man, where you got to get used to how the players move and, just getting used to setting guys up. And speaking of setting guys up, man, I feel like I can set up my own offense. It was times earlier in this game where I took over with Derrick Rose. I was taking what the offense was giving me, and I was able to, do some damage for a while. Also on that subject, the AI, man, by the CPU is pretty good right now. On offense, they're pretty smart. They will take exactly what you're giving them. Defense, they're smart as well. A lot of times they keep you on the outside depending on what team you're playing. Because I noticed that the Cavs played me differently than some of the other teams that I had played. But, this game, you're going to really have to penetrate, and find a way to penetrate the offense, and set up your offense. And in case some of you guys are wondering, I'm playing on Superstar Sim. So I'm playing on Superstar difficulty and game style simulation, which is one of the recommended settings that I received from a few guys, as well as shout outs to my guy Scott O'Gallagher. He said that's a pretty nice mode, not mode, but pretty comfortable setting, as well as the online will be on that setting by default. So I figure that's probably the preferred setting. And as you can see, man, if you don't get some points or if you don't do what you're supposed to, you're gonna get your butt kicked. And I can contribute some of that to it being a new game and me just jumping right in head first without calling plays and things like that. But also I have to give credit to the CPU. They're just giving it to me. So I like that, man. So all of those things I mentioned, they look good so far. It's a whole lot I'm not, mentioning here, I'm sure, because like I said, guys, this is my third game. There's little nuances that I have to look into and learn, going into replay and all that stuff. I didn't do any of that last night. I did do it a few times on the stream, but, not to the degree where some people would expect. What else? I love the pregame stuff, man. So far, Shaq and Ernie is very entertaining. Speaking of presentation, they took out the halftime show, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of these games taking things away, man. Now, especially since we're on bigger and stronger consoles. And presentation as far as the atmosphere is a lot better. The crowd reaction, the crowd noise. Love all of that so far. And commentary is seems to be stellar like always. But again, a lot of these things are still yet to be determined. So this is far from a review. It's far from a finished product. I did notice a couple little nuances. Not nuances, but few things here I didn't like. There's a couple animations that seemed like I got stuck in. One in particular is when you're playing on-ball defense. So I'm going to take a closer look at that as well. So some of the animations and transitioning into those animations, I did see a couple instances of that. So like I said, no game is going to be perfect, but I like to look at all that stuff and provide feedback. So here it is, guys. First look, very, very quick impressions, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to you with a lot more, whether that be good or bad. All right? Appreciate you watching. Like always, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, guys, every Thursday night, Sim Standard Radio. Make sure you tune in. And don't forget to check me out on Twitter at SimFBallCritic.